Hey everyone, and welcome back to VFX Vibe once again. Hey everyone, and welcome back to VFX Vibe once again. So today's video will be a requested video. One of our subscriber requested me to do this video, and for a very long time I wanted to do this kind of video as well, right? So he requested me to do a shot where we can use a old school or old television or CRT monitors where we have to replace any footage on that particular monitor. Basically, we want to create a shot where we are going to use old monitors slash television, right? So this video will be a very interesting video, and I would like to thank our subscriber just to request for this video. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Okay, as you can see over here, I have few footages. Like this will be our main footage, and if I'm going to play it, there will be a motion which we need to track and all, and some kind of reflection we are getting which coming from this side. Also, I have created these RGB kind of stuff. Basically, in CRT monitors, what we had phosphor dots which illuminates just to display any kind of data, right? So again, I'm not going to in detail, but this is the basic method. We had phosphor dots which helps us to display any kind of data or any kind of input, right? So I created this using Photoshop and After Effects. If needed, you can create it, and it's a 8K plate. It's a single plate. Also, I have my input which I want to project or which I want on my television screen or CRT screen, right? Okay. So if you remember in old days, what happens in our phosphor dots or RGB colors, our data or our input was visible, right? So we need to mimic that event as well, right? So what I need to display my red channel of this input inside my red channel of this. So first thing first, we need to split our channels first, right? So how I can do that? It's pretty simple. So I am going to use a node called shuffle, right? And in shuffle, I am going to use only red, and I'll name it red, right? I might duplicate it like this, and I'm going to shuffle my green channel, and I'll name it green. Same way, I'm going to shuffle one more, and this will be my blue channel, and I'll name it blue, right? So this is the basic hygiene we need to follow. Let me arrange it. So these are the three channels which I have in my insert. Now, how I can use these channels to mask our data or mask our input, right? So it's pretty simple. I'm going over here and I'll take a node called merge. Pretty simple. This will be B and this will be A. It doesn't matter what is B, what is A. And here I'm going to multiply it, right? So what will happen? Every data will multiply with my red channel, but I don't want that. I want my red of this input should multiply with the red of this input, right? So how I can do that? Just go to merge, and here in A channel, which you can see our CRT or phosphor dots coming, and I'm going to say, boss, don't use green and blue, only multiply red, right? Now you can see in my red dot, only I am having my red channel. Isn't it great, right? Same way, I'm going to take another multiply, and probably I'll do this. This will be A, or might be this will be A, this will be B, and same way I'm going to multiply, but this time I'm not going to multiply red and blue, I'm going to multiply my green, right? Another multiply, this will be B, this will be A, right? And I'm going to multiply my blue channel, right? Now in my red, I am having red channel only. In my green, I am having my green channel only. In my blue, I am having my blue channel only. Again, I have to merge them. So I'm going to connect B, A, doesn't matter. And another input will be this. Now I'm going to merge on screen or plus, whatever I want, right? Now you can see I'm having my phosphor dots and I'm having my inputs over here, but these dots are very spreaded, right? So you remember I told you that I have 8K texture, right? So you need to increase your phosphor dots density. So how you can do that? If you have bigger or if you have larger pixel density, then it will be perfect, right? So what I can do, I can come over here and I can take a transform, and probably I will use this transform from here and I can scale it down. So as I'm going to increase my density, you can easily see my images are pretty clear. Can you see that? Now, if you can see, I am having these kind of effect like old CRT monitor kind of look I'm getting, but although it's not done. So let me fix this and probably, yeah, it's all fine now, right? So this will be my first step towards my desired result, right? Apart from that, if you notice or if you can collect some references, it would be visible that there will be a flickering kind of stuff, continuous flickering in our CRT monitors, right? So how we can create that effect inside Nuke? So let me do that. So I'm going to take a color corrector node. It's pretty simple, and in color corrector node we have contrast and gain, right? So we need to write a code. It's a basic expression. So I'm going to right click over here and add expression, and expression will be like random open bracket, and probably I'll use 50 as per now, and I'm going to close it, right? So what will happen? It will be darkened, but there won't be any flickering because I want my data or I want my gain expression should be randomized as our frame changes, right? So what else we need to do? Just right click, edit expression, and apart from 50, just you have to add plus and you have to type frame, right? Now what will happen as your frame proceeds? Let me play it. You can see I'm having my flicker. You can control speed if you want. You have to play with your values, right? So apart from gain, I'm going to use my contrast as well. So right click, add expression, and I'm going to use random open bracket and probably 20 plus frame, right? And again, you'll have some contrasty or what we can say a faded kind of look I'm getting. Although it's not looking that great, it's pretty dark, but believe me, follow these steps and you will come to know how good this is going to look like, right? Apart from these flickering, you might have noticed that continuous some lines are coming from top and going down, right? So we need to create that effect as well. So to do that, I can distort it, but I need some data. So what I have done, I have created this animation. You can experiment with this animation, like how fast these lines are coming. I figure it out. This is good for me. So again, these lines are created inside Nuke itself. So let me show you how I did that. So here is the setup. I took one constant, I scaled it as I wanted, right? And I animated it simple over time. So if I'm going to double click on transform, you can easily see I have some animation, right? But I wanted constant animation, constant line animation. So probably I could have animated, but what I have done, I have added one more transform. And once this will go over here, another transform will come. Same way, what I have done, I have created this effect, like continuous, my line will come from top and it will go down, and I rendered this, right? So this is the basic setup what I have done, right? Okay, so now I can use this data to distort my setup or distorted line. I can add distorted line in my scene, right? So how I can do that? So I need to copy this data in this stream so that I can distort it. And in Nuke, if you want to distort anything with any data, you need to copy that data to a motion channel, right? Or forward U or forward B. So how I can do that? Just take a copy node. This will be my B and this will be my A, right? and I'm going to copy red to my forward U and green to my forward V. Simple. Now I have my data and I'm going to use one node called iDistort, right? So let's connect iDistort, and in iDistort I am going to say boss channel will be all, because I want to affect all channels, which is RGB, and UV channel should be motion or forward. So if I'm going to use forward, can you see I'm having a distorted line? And if I'm going to play, let's see. Now I'm having my distorted lines, right? So just to show you, I'm going to disable my color correction, and in iDistort you can easily see how distorted lines I'm getting, right? If you want a stronger effect, so you can scale your UV offset like this, and if I'm going to play it, you can easily see I am having my distortion line coming, right? Isn't it great? So pretty simple, but it's effective, right? So I don't want this much, so probably I will decrease a little like this, and with this I'm having my flickering, but flickering is too fast. I don't want that effect, so I am going in color correction, and probably in ranges I am going to lower down mix for now, and it will be a very lesser effect. Later on we will change it. So apart from that effect, what else we can do? Probably you have noticed that in that particular CRT monitor or television monitors, some sort of a colorization happened, right? Sometime a line will come where all color will gone or saturation will gone, and some line will come where oversaturated things will happen, right? So we need to create that effect as well. So how I can do that? It's pretty simple, the way I did. So I'm going to take a constant node, pretty simple, and in constant I'm going to use 1, and let's scale it like this amount I want, and I am going to take one color, and in this particular color corrector I am going to use expression in saturation, right? So right click, add expression, and random, it will be random, and probably 40 plus frame, right? It's pretty simple. Hit OK. Now what will happen? Your saturation will come down, right? Like this. And sometime it will be bigger, sometime it will be lower. But I want this as a mask. So if you can see, I am having my alpha as well. So if I'm going to connect this, your colorization will come only in that particular area. So let me show it to you what I mean. So it's not coming because I need to reformat it, right? So let's reformat it. I'm going to use reformat, and probably it will come now. So you can see I'm having my colorization over here. Now I need to animate it, right, over time. So just go to transform, go to first frame. You want your this thing over here on first frame, and let's animate it. Probably I'll do this, and in suppose that 20 frames it will come down, right? And in next frame it will go over here, it will stay till there, and probably in some time it will come down. So you need to animate as per your requirement. So what will happen? This thing will animate like this, and again this will come, right? So if I'm going to see from here, you can easily see my colorization is coming pretty nicely, right? So let me animate it as per my requirement, and I'll come back once it's done. Okay, so what I have done, I just distorted it and I just desaturated it, and one setup I have used just for oversaturated kind of stuff like this. If you can see, I'm having some oversaturated stuff over here and some desaturated stuff over here, right? Can you see that? So these kind of effect usually we get in our CRT monitors, and if I'm going to play, you can easily see I'm having my distortion, I'm having my oversaturated thing, I'm having my desaturated thing as well, right? So this is something I am using, and apart from that I can do multiple things, right? So I'm pretty much happy with this setup. Let's start putting our all these data over here. So if you can easily see, I am having movement, so I need to track it. It's a very little moment. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a planar tracker, and I'm going to connect my planar tracker over here, and on first frame I'm going to draw a shape around my television like this, and let's arrange it a little. I can arrange it like this. You can do 2D tracking as well or 3D tracking as per your requirement, and I am going to track forward from here. So it will take some time, and once this is done, I'll come back. Okay, now it's done. If I'm going to scroll it, you can see it's sticking pretty fine, and few things I would like to change. I will go over here and I will switch on my correct plane and my grid, and I'm going to change it. Might possible I can put here. That's the best place. So let me do that. Let me do it quickly. I'll come back once this is done. So I'm pretty much happy with my position, and if I'm going to play, you can see my tracking is doing pretty nice, right? Okay, what else now? So if I'm going to take a merge node, and this will be my B and this will be my A, and if I'm going to do, it's not looking that great. It's not what I want, right? So again, resolution is different, like it's HD, and it's, if I'm going to see, it's 2352 and 1080. So I need to do one more thing, like I need to reformat it, right? Reformat on the basis of my actual scan plate, right? So after that, what I'm going to use, I'm going over here and I'm going to select it, and I'm going to export my corner pin absolute baked. If you need any detailed information about planar tracking, I have already made several videos. You can go and you can check. So if I'm going to connect my corner pin over here, and you can easily see it's coming pretty nicely, but it's not the way I want. Can you see that? It's not the way I want. So I don't need my planar track to be inside my flow. So probably I'll detach it. This will, because I'm using my tracking data on my this footage, you can easily see this is not looking the way I want. It's pretty dull and whatnot, right? So what I can do after this color correction, I can take a node called grade, and probably I am going to gain it a little like this, right? Also, these phosphor dots should glow, right? So I'm going over here and I'm going to take one glow node like this. And let's connect glow, and I'm going to use effects only, and probably I'll increase size a little, and I'm going to plus it like this, right? Let's plus it or screen it, whatever you want. Also, I need one more glow, which will be a core glow, like why not? And I'm going to take another glow node, and this time I'm going to use tolerance for this thing. So I'm going to use tolerance, and probably I will decrease my size based upon my requirement, and again I'm going to plus it. So what will happen? Let's plus it. So what will happen? Suddenly you can see I'm having my this thing, a glow kind of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty intense, so I can probably lower it down, right? But again, I'm not getting what I want. Let's fix it first, right? Why it's happening? Because I need to increase my alpha value. Can you see that? The alpha is not that great. So what I am going to do, I am going over here, and again, before reformat and this thing, I'm going to take a grade node, and probably I'll try with alpha. And if I'm going to increase my alpha like this, and probably it will work now. Let's do that. Now it's coming good, right? So I can fix it. I'll let you know how I can fix it. But now it's not coming inside my television, right? So what I can do, either I can manually place it, or there is another option which I'm going to use. I'm going to take a node called roto, and let's create a shape around it. So again, it's a pretty decent job you need to do, right? So let me do it quickly, and once this is done, I'll come back. Okay, so I'm done with my roto, but this roto won't go with my footage. So what I have to do, just again, I'm going over here, and this time I'm going to export my relative value. So what will happen if I'm going to see what will happen with my relative value? Let's see. It won't change shape, but it will apply my tracking data, right? And now I'm going to use this data to cut this information, right? This information. So I'm going to take a node called merge and let's connect over here, and here I'm going to use stencil. So what will happen, not stencil, mask. So what will happen, it will cut automatically in my monitor shape, and if you can see, it's coming pretty nicely. Can you see that? But it's too intense, it's too dark in fact, and also I'm not getting the result what I want. First thing first, let's fix my alpha value. So it's pretty simple. As you can see, I have scene setup of 2352 and 1080. So it's pretty simple. I'm going to take a node called constant, and in constant I'm going to use RGBA, and over here I'm going to use alpha value 1, and I'm going to copy this alpha over here, and probably I'll use reformat and all, so probably it will come nice, right? Also, I don't think that my glow is coming that nicely, so probably I'll go over here and I'll increase some brightness like this, and probably I'll lower down my mix, right? Also, I'm going to increase intensity because it should be little brighter like this. Can you see that? Yeah, at some point it's too dark, it's too bright, but you have to manage, like not that much, this much, it will be okay for me. Also, what I can do, I can see in my original footage, I have my reflections and also darkness at the corners, right? So how I can create that darkness? So let me make some space. Right? So I'm having my alpha, something like that, and I'm going to use a node called dilate, which is erode fast, and I'm going to dilate like this, right? Few pixels, and I'm going to merge this with this, right? And operation will be stencil. So I'll get my outer line, right? So let me dilate little more. And this data, I'm going to use it in a grade node, and in grade node, I'm going to lower down my gain. So you can easily see my edges are getting darker, right? Now I can see it's pretty much, and also if I can see, I'm having these lines. So this is pretty easy fix. I can probably go over here and I can take edge blur or whatever you can do it. It's pretty simple fix, right? So it's pretty simple fix, you can do it. I'm not going to do that, but you can easily see I'm having this thing pretty nicely, right? Also, you can see more pixelation. So probably before glow, I'm going to reduce my glow a little more like this. And also I'm going to use a defocus node just to soften things a little. Can you see that? Probably 1.2 or 1.3 will work like this. It's coming pretty nicely, right? One more thing I can use. Now I'm going to use reflection on top of everything, right? So how I can do that? I'm going to take a node called keyer, and in keyer, I'm going to key luminance, which is this. And again, I'm going to use my this setup just to cut things, and let me use a node called pre-mult. Yes, Control V. Let's take a merge, and that will be operation will be mask. So I'll have this, right? And again, I'm going to take a merge node and let's connect it on top of everything like this. So I'm having my reflections, but if you need more reflections, so what you have to do, just take a grade node, and in grade node, probably I'm going to use RGBA, and let's increase little gamma. So what will happen? Your reflections over here will come little stronger, and if you can easily see, I'm having my reflections on top of my television. And if I'm going to play it now, so I think flickering is too much, so I'll go over here, and I know I have my flickering setup over here, and probably I'll lower down little more like this. Very subtle flickering I want, so probably I'll lower down little more as well. Now it's looking fine to me. So let's play it and let's see how it's coming. Okay, now you can easily see how it's looking. Although you can play with the flickering rate, you can play with the distortion rate, and you can play with the saturation and desaturation rate. It's all up to you. But by using this technique, I'm damn sure you can create amazing videos and amazing shots. And thanks once again for our subscriber who suggested me to make this video. I hope this video is pretty much helpful to you. And if you think that this video is helping you, please don't forget to like this video, share this video, and if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. With this said, this is VFX Vibe signing off. Have a good day.